Hi, I'm Rad Linux, and today I'm going to be showing off a new toy. So I was given a Dell Optiplex GX1, and this is a pretty old Dell Optiplex. I think it's about 25 years old now. It is sporting a Pentium 3, very small amount of RAM, I think 156 megabytes of RAM. It's a generally old computer. It runs Windows 98. Now, I got this from somebody who had been storing it in their attic for a while, for really a long while. So I'm going to go through and do a couple of the kind of first things that you should do when playing with retro hardware. And the number one thing we want to do is we want to open it up and check to see if there's been any damage, right? And whether that's broken bits or, we want to see what's going on with the batteries. A lot of times, the older BIOS batteries have a tendency to leak. So we want to make sure that everything's good on that end. I luckily have an extra BIOS battery around, so I was able to. I'm going to be able to replace it, I guess. And I also have to check the capacitors. You want to make sure that there's no leaky capacitors on the board. Honestly, I don't know that I'd be the best candidate to replace them if they were leaky. But we're gonna open it up, and luckily, the capacitors all do look pretty good on this computer. Now, I did find a couple little loose bits and pieces here, an IO shield, and I found myself uh, I guess I don't know some piece maybe for some kind of cage. I'm not really 100% sure what that does, but it seems unnecessary. So I'm going to hold on to it, but I have no plans for that piece of plastic. I'm kind of poking around and trying to figure out the BIOS battery on this device is a little hidden. It is jammed underneath there. You can see I've kind of noticed where the BIOS battery is, but I haven't quite figured out how to get in there. It's a little complex to remove this the housing or the cage for the CD-ROM drive. So I fiddled with it for a little bit. I did figure it out. You have to kind of push these metal tabs, these big metal tabs, out, and those will that's actually just going to kind of pop right out. Honestly, this thing has a lot of, I guess, some of the similarities or the hallmarks of current Dell Optiplexes or Optiplexes of the last 10, 20 years. A lot of the work on this thing is toolless, so they're easy to maintain, and that's why they make such popular PCs in the like office space. This was used as a home computer, but they play a large role in quick and easy solutions. So yeah, it is a toolless removal of this cage, which is actually really nice. So I'm going to get to it, but I eventually found the BIOS battery, which is underneath there, and I was able to get it out, which also took a little bit of work. It's not exactly the most convenient BIOS battery kind of retention mechanism. So I got it out, was able to replace it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm figuring it out now. And I was able to get a new battery in. That's all good. I also, scoped it out, checked it out. It's very dirty, so I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna do a little quick montage of me doing some cleaning. And obviously, I think if I'm gonna like run this thing for any extended period of time beyond today, I should probably clean it out even more thoroughly than I ended up doing, which was mostly taking a little paintbrush going around trying to get rid of some of the dust and also blowing it out outside with some compressed air. Now, after doing all of that, I mean, the big question is really, will this computer power on? Everything looked good. Everything looks good, really. So, I have high hopes. Now, I did initially boot the machine with the hard drive unplugged. I didn't, I figured if I'm gonna blow everything up, I should probably not blow up at least the data that's on there. This is partners family's computer, so we do want to kind of try to see if we can get the data off there so that I can we can back up these memories that exist from the 90s here. Everything worked surprisingly well, actually. After booting it up and realizing that it would boot, it took me a while to actually go find a keyboard. I thought I had a PS2 keyboard around. This does have two USB inputs, they're USB one, but they don't seem to want to work for the keyboard, which is, I guess expected. But I do have a PS2 adapter, and eventually I found my PS2 adapter, and that works. Now, the next trouble that I had was I had reset the BIOS. A lot of things in the BIOS were reset, and the hard drive wasn't being recognized properly. This is not the most modern BIOS, and there isn't like a set defaults option. So I kind of had to go through and try a couple things, reboot a few times, and see if I can get things going. It took a little bit of finesse, but I was able to get it to recognize the IDE hard drive. I think it's a 60 gigabyte hard drive. Once I was able to get it to recognize that, I was able to boot into Windows 98. Now, I did try some other random things. You basically, if I want to install Linux on this computer, which is always my end game, I'm going to have to use a CD because USB is not bootable. So it's either CD or floppies. What I really want to do with this computer is I want to play with it a little bit. I want to take a shot at trying to upgrade it as hard as I can. Primarily, I think it takes a max of 256 megabytes of RAM. And, yeah, it is a Pentium 3. It's a 450 megahertz Pentium 3. So it's not like the highest end model. I think that the fastest one available for these Optiplexes was a 600 megahertz CPU. I don't think I'm going to push too hard to try and find one of those to upgrade, but I might be able to find some memory around. That'd be cool to max it out. And then I really want to get one of the like a solid state IDE hard drive of some sort, or IDE SSD rather, right? So solid state drive. I recently actually saw the guy on Action Retro had a couple of those, and I if I can get 256 megabytes of RAM and an SSD, that I can get modern Debian to install on this, and I really want to see what that looks like. Obviously, I don't think I could get a GUI going. It would definitely have to be a server variant, but this could be really cool. So I hope that I can follow this project up and find some fun stuff to do, some fun tweaks to do, see if I can get Linux running on this. And yeah, I don't know if you like this kind of retro computing nonsense. Just let me know, and hopefully I can find some new weird stuff to do with this box. If you have any ideas, let me know. I'm Rad Linux, and I hope you all have a nice day.